Required listening with Amazon Music.
Dad music again?
The greatest guitarist of all time.
Wait, who?
Alexa, add this song to a new playlist.
Sure, what's the new playlist name?
Jack's Intro to Classic Rock.
Adding Stepping Stone by Jimi Hendrix to Jack's Intro to Classic Rock playlist.
Amazon Music, the simplest way to listen to the music you and soon he will love. New customers start your 30-day free trial at AmazonMusic.com. Renews automatically, cancel anytime.
You can only sell like 4 or 5 tickets. We got to get some other seats, extra seats down.
Hello, folks. How you doing? It's Danny Tisdale, and you're on the Danny Tisdale Show listening to, of course, some of our great guests. I hope you're doing well because I am, and it's great to have you here with us. This is a pretty exciting show, I think. We're going to speak to one of the film gurus of Harlem about what she's doing, and especially the Black Panther film and other things. And as you can hear, she's getting prepped in the back for a film that they have tonight. And before we get started, I just want to give you our links and let you know what's going on. First, you can hit us up at Twitter, at twitter.com/HWMag, and Facebook at the same acronym HWMag, and also at Harlem World Magazine. And check out the website at harlemworldmag.com. Here's what's trending. Check out Lil Nicholson's article on Women in Food Media event that we posted a couple of days ago. And another quick one, Wednesday, tomorrow, is National School Walkout Against Gun Violence in northern Manhattan. And folks, bear with us. As I said, she's getting ready for a show, so bear with us. Without further ado, I want to introduce our guest, Moikgantsi Kgama. She's an audience development specialist. She is founder of ImageNation Cinema Foundation, a Harlem-based nonprofit arts organization. ImageNation presents progressive media by and about people of color with a goal of establishing a chain of art house cinemas dedicated to those works. ImageNation fosters media equity, media literacy, solidarity, cross-cultural exchange, and highlights the humanity of Pan-African people worldwide. Moikgantsi Awards has included some of the awards that she's received. She's been named as one of the 25 women who are shaping the world by Essence Magazine. She received the Trailblazer Award from Real Sisters Film Festival and a proclamation from the city of New York for her work with ImageNation. She's earned a B.S. in newspaper journalism from Syracuse University, Newhouse School of Public Communications. She serves as director of communications at Harlem Congregations and Community Improvement. She lives and works in Harlem with her husband and partner, Gregory, and their son.
Baby.
Hello, Moikgantsi.
Hey, Danny, how are you? Thank you so much for having me on the air. I'm sorry about all the background noise, but, we hustling over here.
I know, and I was just going to say that, this is what I love. I mean, it's real time. You've got a show that opens up in, what time does it open up?
At 7 o'clock.
At 7 o'clock, and this is, listeners, this is how I want you to see how she's committed to her craft. She's got a show about to open up, and she's sharing that with us. Before we even get started, Moikgantsi, what's happening tonight and what time so that our listeners, right after they get finished, they can come check you out?
Well, we're showing an independent film called The Rape of Recy Taylor. And for anyone who watched the Golden Globes, you might remember when Oprah invoked her name and her spirit, and she talked about, that Recy Taylor had died and was tormented by some people who accosted her, and that, their time is up. Their time is up. The time for people who are, exacting sexual violence against women is up. And she kind of invoked Recy Taylor's story in talking about that. And then, of course, it was like Oprah for president, so Recy Taylor's spirit is strong. But Recy Taylor is a woman who was gang raped in 1944 by a group of 6 white men, in Alabama, and she fought back. A lot of women were accosted at that time and would just let it go, but she did not. Right. She sought justice. And actually Rosa Parks became part of her her legal team and was helping her deal with this case. So, it's a story as much about the origins of the Me Too movement as it is about the resiliency and strength and unity among women. And so I thought it was a great time to show this film. And then also, to me, Rosa Parks being part of the story is even more interesting because we don't hear about her in that way. Right. And so tonight we're showing the documentary. The director, Nancy Buirski, will be here to discuss the film with us. And we got a sold-out house.
Fantastic.
So,
That's fantastic.
Excited.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we're going to talk some about Black Panther, but there's just so much going on in our time as we speak now. And you talk about Recy Taylor. What is going on? And I know this is not a question I had planned to ask you, but is it just what's going on in this moment in the media with women and the industry, whether it's film or whether it's Hollywood? Is it a change, or is it a blip on the radar, or what's? Do you have an idea?
I think it's a change. This is my humble opinion, but
right.
I think there's a change, and I think that for all the horrible things that our that the new guy in the Oval Office has ushered in, I think one of the things that's happened is that there's a pushback. There's a pushback against repression. There's a pushback against, sexual violence. People don't want to be represented in that way, and I think it's making people stand up and say, wait a minute, enough is enough. And so I think that kind of is the impetus for a lot of what's happening right now. To me, white women really elected him, right? And so, a lot of the women who voted for him were white women. We voted, 98% of us voted for Hillary. And so, I think there are some people who are taking stock and saying, wait a minute now, these women who voted for him don't speak for us all. This atmosphere of racism and misogyny is not a way that we want to live. And I think people were emboldened to fight back, and I think that's what's happening right now. That's my opinion of it. And then you can look at this on many levels. It's like there's some people who say, well, women in Hollywood don't represent real women, until you're talking about the women who work in the grocery store who are being sexually harassed, or the women who clean houses. Until you're talking about everyday women, you're not really talking about a real movement. But I think even those women are becoming more emboldened now. And this film in particular is made by a white woman about a black woman's story. And to me, it's a really good example of intersectionality, where we see this white woman who has decided to tell this story because it represents not just black women, it represents women in general. And, of course, that oppression is very specific for us, especially in that time. But I think it's important that, our story become part of the larger story.
Certainly so, and I'm just going to say it myself. Of course, if you've clicked on us to listen and talk about Black Panther, we are going to talk about that. But there are other issues, and dare I say, important issues, just as important or more important issues that we're talking about that also relate to the film Black Panther. But I was thinking of believe it or not, I'm thinking of your son, and I'm thinking about the world that he will grow up into, and it sounds like it's going to be a better world.
It is, and I think it'll be a world where at least his peers have a much more empowered vision of themselves. It's funny, my son was talking to me about Hillary Clinton, and he kind of got his facts mixed up, right? Because this was about a year or two ago. He's only 7 now, so he might have been about 5.
Right.
And he told me, Mommy, I feel sorry for Hillary Clinton. I said, well, why? Why do you feel sorry for her? He said, well, she lost. I said, so? Why do you feel sorry for her? He said, well, she wanted to be the first white president. And it cracked me up because in his mind, Barack is the only president. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. And he's like, well, Hillary wanted to be the first white one. And I said, sweetie,
wow.
There have been many white presidents. Barack Obama is the first black president. And he said, really, why? you know, and it never occurred to him that
Interesting, right?
Yeah, that was a coveted place where we hadn't been before. It never occurred to him, you know. And then seeing,
right,
you know,
this may not be the starting point, but for him it is the starting point.
Right. And so for kids his age, you know, they would never think that there's that glass ceiling where I can't do that. You know,
right.
and similar with Black Panther, like my son dressed up as Black Panther for Halloween, and he had the privilege to meet Chadwick Boseman at the Apollo Theater in his Black Panther costume.
In his gear.
You know,
right.
Kari had his gear on. He went up to the stage and got his mask signed. He did the whole thing with Chadwick Boseman. And this is a kid who will never think, you know, superheroes only look like Superman. And he'll never have that perspective, and neither will his friends. And the funny thing is, he and two friends went to see Black Panther together. They're all 7 years old, and one of the little boys was white. And that little white boy was dressed as Black Panther from head to toe.
Love it.
You know, and so there, you know, it's really shifting the way children of all races, I think, see the world. You know,
that's right.
Just not Black Panther alone, but just the times we're in. You know.
Oh, I know, and I'm with you too, because I tried to wait, and I had said to myself I wasn't going to see Black Panther until after we spoke, but of course I went and saw it last night. And,
why would you do that?
you know, go figure. But, you know, it was kind of 50-50, 50% black folks and 50% of everybody else you could think of, you know, Asian, Hispanic, white, and that was very, you know, it was pleasant. It was good to see, you know.
Yeah, it was. And the thing about it, you know, we're an organization that's been primarily dedicated to independent film because that's where we saw us having the autonomy and the ability to make statements.
Right.
But it really just show you what can happen when we get in those positions of power, when we can greenlight a project, when we can hire most of the crew, when we can decide that they're going to speak Xhosa in the film and not just make up some ambiguous pseudo-African language. You know, it really is an interesting – I mean, you know, they chose real language. Yeah. So it shows you what can happen if we're in the positions of power to make decisions and if we're conscious, because some people get there and they decide not to be conscious.
Right.
You know. It
goes
also
out
shows
the window
you that
when money comes to the pocket, it seems sometimes.
Right. That's why I'm a huge fan of Ryan Coogler's, because I trust whatever he does. You know, I was like, I know it's going to be great because Ryan Coogler did it. And from the minute he got on the stage, he's always represented. So, you know, it shows you the value. And also it shows you that when you decide to make a film and you decided, like, to consciously make it a progressive film for the black community, we respond. You know?
Are we headed towards I'm going to use a statement that somebody else used so that I don't destroy it in a paraphrase, which I'm very good at doing. Do you think we'll ever get to the world that Martin Luther King talked about, where maybe in your son's, you know, he's our age or maybe your age, I'm older, has a world where we are not just looking at race, gender, you know, identity politics? You think we'll ever get there, Moikgantsi?
No, I don't. At least not in my lifetime.
Can you
or
say
my
how
son's
you feel?
lifetime. I mean, I don't, but
so.
I think we will get to a place where we have the ability to challenge those stereotypes and challenge people when they revert back to ignorance, and we'll have the we'll have the power, the ability, the strength, the confidence to challenge it, and maybe even some institutional and financial backing to allow us to challenge it. You know, I think that's the difference. That people are always going to be like that. But now I think we have a little bit more in our arsenal to fight back with. And I think that's what the difference will be. Like, I don't think my son will ever be a person who believes that will ever allow anyone to tell him he can't do something because he's black. He just wouldn't allow it. Now, it doesn't mean someone won't say it to him.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think the difference is that now... Because we're going to have ignorant
people around who
are
small-minded.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. You know. So no, I'm not that optimistic, but you know.
Well, you know, I am somewhere in the middle there, and I'm getting more and more towards as I get older, that hopefulness, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I know too many people who seem to hold on to ignorance to always give me a reality check, you know. Let me put it that way, you know. So, Black Panther. Why do you think that movie has had the success that it has? That was, as I circle back to kind of our theme here. Why has Black Panther had the success it has had, did you think?
Well, I mean, just to be, you know, pragmatic about it, I think marketing.
Okay.
You know, this film has been marketed for 2 years or longer. This film had Ta-Nehisi Coates doing the you know, rewriting the books in advance of it coming. People, I had a friend from Botswana call me and tell me that people over there are planning their outfits, and this was like almost a year ago. So the marketing behind it was just so grand, and I think
early.
You can't. Yeah, you can't ignore that. Also, I think because people trusted the team that made the film, I think you had you didn't just have a black director, you also had a black executive producer. You know what I mean? You had black people in so many positions of
key positions, right?
Key positions, and we knew it was for us by us. You know, even if Disney made it. You know what I mean? You know, but you had us in
even if Mickey Mouse
key
did
positions. Well, yeah, you know, that was the money behind it. But, you know, we were in key positions. We were able to spend that money in ways that made sense, and the marketing was there. You know, I look at A Wrinkle in Time, which is out right now, and there are people going, who? What? And, like, Ava is the first black woman to have a budget of $100 million, but they didn't put the marketing behind that film.
Yeah. No,
they did not.
I think that is such a good point, Moikgantsi, because you are right on with that, and you're right. They started way early, and so that they got the word out, and then other people can take advantage of the fact that the word got out early, so that they could do their own thing and own spin on it.
Yeah, and then plus, I mean, this is part of the Marvel franchise. Black Panther is not new. You know, anyone who's into the comics, you know, knows when Black Panther was married to Storm. You know, he's not a new character. He's had decades of presence. So, you know, I think there are people, and whether you're white, black, or purple, if you're into Marvel, you know who he is. So, you know, there's also that. You know, this is not something new.
Well, Moikgantsi, we're already at that halfway point, and I just want to let our folks listening know that they're listening to the Danny Tisdale Show. And guess who I am? I'm Danny Tisdale, and this is part of Harlem World Radio. And, of course, we're talking about Black Panther and so many other topics that are just as important and in some ways more important. So, Moikgantsi, I just want to get right back to what we were talking about. So is the formula for this kind of film early marketing and a combination of politics and entertainment?
I don't know if there's a formula. You know, I mean, I would love to say that Black Panther has proven, you know, there's some special formula for this. What I do see is I see a lot more like this Black Lightning. Isn't it called Black Lightning? There's a television series out about the black family of superheroes.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, I think there are more opportunities for people to operate in this genre because of Black Panther. I think people see the viability of it. The industry sees the viability of it. But I don't know if there's a formula. I mean, when do you have a character that was created in the 70s that people, you know, that has like this cult following and then has someone like Coates rewrite the books and then, you know, I mean, I don't know if that's a formula you can recreate.
Right.
Yeah, but I do think that it really does speak to the viability
of the money to make the success. It's just not going to take money only to do it. The time,
this is a cultural phenomenon.
A lot of great timing. Yeah.
And then you know, you've got this like what I do think it will do is say, look, there's viability in black stories and black films. There is an international audience because they always say our films don't do well internationally. Like if you market it and you create a character that people are interested in, they will come see us on screen. Yeah, they will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can have a beautiful black woman who looks like Lupita, who is the heroine and the love interest. That's incredible. I mean, this is Women's History Month, so, you know, the women in that film were just fantastic.
Incredible.
Yeah. And just there was a scene in the film where Wakanda was behind T'Challa and Nakia. And they were kissing, and it was just the most beautiful scene I've ever seen. I've never seen a love scene like that before. I've never seen, a woman who looks like Lupita just heralded in that way. And I think that's one of the strengths of the film too. I was watching the film in Harlem, and someone said, General Okoye, and I heard a little girl say, "What? She's a general?" Just those types of things.
That's huge.
The strength.
Right.
Yeah, it was huge. It was huge in so many ways. So, what it said about black women in power, what it said about black women in beauty, to see a black couple on screen like that was amazing. There's so many things about it I loved.
So,
and then there's the Killmonger thing, right? But I'm gonna let you ask the question before I get into it. But there've been so many debates about this film.
No, go ahead. I'd rather you go.
There've been so many debates about it. Some people say that Killmonger was really a poor representation of black Americans and black men. Some people feel like we were left out of the story.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just read something by the Washington Post about that.
I've heard that critique, and I thought about it, and I was like, I guess if you want to separate, to me the film was about Pan-African unity, first and foremost, right? You had a Pan-African cast. You had,
you had people from, I saw that.
Yeah, different parts. You had Caribbeans, Africans, African-Americans in the cast. You had an African-American director who's only 31 years old and who was one of the writers on the script as well. So to me, I wasn't really interested in dissecting this film into what happened to the African Americans, what happened to the Africans, where are the Caribbeans, where are the light skinned people. I just wasn't, it wasn't, to me it was really about Pan African unity. Right. Yeah, and then his Killmonger story, right? This is a guy who wants to actually have, armed warfare throughout the Pan African world. Now, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, to me it was very subversive to have that conversation.
Right.
This is not a conversation people are having. This is not a conversation most young people have been exposed to at all.
Right.
This is not 1970 where you might have had that conversation.
Oh, you had that conversation, whether you wanted it or not.
Right. And so to me, I'm like, how else do you get that conversation in there? It had to kind of come through a villain, or else you wouldn't be able to have the conversation. So I thought, right? I mean, I thought it was extremely subversive and smart. And, hopefully it would have been the whole thing with the African-Americans character. There were some things to debate about it, but I thought that the good outweighed the bad.
Yeah,
and having that conversation to me is critical.
And I thought that's all I kept thinking about as I looked at, I think probably the second half of the film is, the light went off in my head and it's like, oh, I get it. It's about a whole lot of things, and the entertainment side of it to me was camouflage, but the real conversation was this idea, this concept of unity that they kind of, didn't, push the clouds away and the sun came through and you had this aha moment. It was just subtly discussed throughout the entire film, which I quite frankly loved personally, because of what you said. You don't get it that much unless you talking to a buddy or someone who feels that way, and you two are talking about it.
Right. And there are lots of people who identify with Killmonger, and they had the opportunity to identify with him and his politics.
That's right.
Which so I really love the film in so many ways. I love the complexities. I love the contradictions. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, and I have a feeling, for me, I'm the kind of person that, over time, as I think about it more and have conversations like I'm having with you, that I'll love the film even more so, and probably after I see it one or two more times. Now, Moikgantsi, I know we're at our last few minutes here, and before we say goodbye for right now, give our listeners ImageNation contact information, all the things you think they should know to stay on track with what ImageNation is doing.
Okay. Our website is imagenation.us, as in us, and our Facebook is ImageNation Foundation. Check out our website. We have a really amazing slate of programs this month for Women's History Month. We have an exhibit up called Bellatrix 2. And it's our History Month exhibition. We call it Bellatrix because a Bellatrix is the third brightest star in the Orion constellation. It's a bright blue star, beautiful star. And the word means woman warrior. And so we thought, well,
nice.
Black women, who's not I'm a Bellatrix, damn it. So we decided to name our Women's History Showcase Bellatrix. And so we've got a really wide array. We've got the art exhibit. We've got this film tonight, The Rape of Reese Taylor. We've got listening parties featuring music of SZA and Cardi B. We've got The Untitled Journey is a short film screening on Thursday. We've got plays. We've got a one-woman show, Zora Neale Hurston, a book signing. We have a woman coming from London. She is Zimbabwean, and she is an erotic author, an African erotic author. And she's going to come here and do book signings. A little different. And we're going to have readings from her book. And the evening is called Art of Desire. And so it's going to be an evening about exploring the Black feminine erotic. Fantastic program. So we've got a lot of great stuff. If you want to come, go to our website, ImageNation.us. Tonight is the only ticket fee-based event. Everything's free this month. So come on out. ImageNation.us. You can RSVP for the events there, or you can just look us up on Eventbrite as well.
Fantastic. And Moikgantsi, I love your work. I love what you do, and I love you and Gregory and
we love you too, Danny.
Little man there.
Little Kari.
And little Kari, thank you. And thank you again for taking time out of your schedule, and good luck with the event tonight, and much love. Talk to you soon. Thank you again for the time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
And, folks, thank you for listening in and listening to a great conversation with Moikgantsi Kgama. And don't forget to check out ImageNation and all the great work that they are doing. We stopped a little early just so that she can get back to her work in the opening tonight. And that's how we roll here in Harlem. Thank you for listening in, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, your night, whatever time you're listening to the show. And don't forget to check us out again at HarlemWorldMag.com and on Twitter and Facebook. We love you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Required listening with Amazon Music.
Dad music again?
The greatest guitarist of all time.
Wait, who?
Alexa, add this song to a new playlist.
Sure, what's the new playlist name?
Jack's Intro to Classic Rock.
Adding Stepping Stone by Jimi Hendrix to Jack's Intro to Classic Rock playlist.
Amazon Music, the simplest way to listen to the music you and soon he will love. New customers start your 30-day free trial at AmazonMusic.com. Renews automatically, cancel anytime. Required listening with Amazon Music.
Dad music again?
The greatest guitarist of all time.
Wait, who?
Alexa, add this song to a new playlist.
Sure, what's the new playlist name?
Jack's Intro to Classic Rock.
Adding Stepping Stone by Jimi Hendrix to Jack's Intro to Classic Rock playlist.
Amazon Music, the simplest way to listen to the music you and soon he will love. New customers start your 30-day free trial at AmazonMusic.com. Renews automatically, cancel anytime.